What is going on, everyone, and welcome to the Sports Talk on Tap podcast. Where here you can find daily sports episodes Monday through Friday covering all the four major sports: NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB. I'm Jake, that's Nick, and in today's episode of our NHL segment, we're going to be covering Game 1 that will be happening tomorrow. NBA tipped off their finals, NHL tomorrow, Panthers versus Oilers. I went with the Panthers this series, but I'm just excited to see the superstars take the ice. McDavid, obviously, best player in the NHL. Draisaitl versus a Florida team that's on a redemption tour after losing the finals last year with Tkachuk, Reinhart, Carter Verhaeghe, Alexander Barkov. And then I'm really, though, looking forward to the goaltending. How does Stuart Skinner continue this red-hot momentum he has, or will Florida, put a beat down on him? This series, I'm excited just to see because I think it could go both ways. But obviously, I'm going to ride with the Florida Panthers, a team that, I've been high on. A lot of people have been, rightfully so. I mean, they made the Stanley Cup Finals last year. They've carried that momentum into this year. But for some reason, I just think it's their time. I think, if there was a time to win it, they might lose Reinhart this offseason. It'd be now to win it. Bobrovsky to get that ring in Florida, to just capture that trophy once and for all.
Yeah, this is a super exciting series. And one thing that's interesting for me is that, who's going to get the playoff MVP? Because there's so many different players in this series that, could potentially get it. There's, 4 or 5 players for Florida that have been unbelievable. And same for Edmonton side, with Draisaitl, McDavid. Zach Hyman's been great. But you look at guys like Bobrovsky, Tkachuk, Sam Reinhart, Barkov, that's such an up in the air thing for me. And I just think whoever, there's going to be one guy that just has to take over this series for either side. And that's usually how it is. Obviously these two teams have such firepower on both sides that it could be anybody, but I'm very interested to watch. Another thing, do you think if Bobrovsky gets a ring, is he up there in those goalie talks?
It's weird because his tenure in Columbus, he was amazing. And then, when he got to Florida, a little rough start, but these last 3 years, and especially these last 2 playoff runs, he's definitely put himself into that conversation. Obviously he needs that ring, but, this is one of, just the greatest runs from a goaltender I've seen in the last 2 playoff hockey playoff runs, because you don't see it a lot. Teams going back to back. I mean, it was so rare for Tampa to do it, let alone most times you see Colorado team that wins the cup next year lose to the Kraken in the first round. So it's very interesting, to think about if he does get that ring. But Florida right now needs that ring because this is the year. And there was a talk I saw on a TikTok. I'm not sure, I'm blanking on his name, but Florida's new GM that got hired back in 2020. What a run he's been on, signing Carter Verhaeghe, getting Sam Reinhart, and, just kind of, building this team up. And then obviously, if you were Florida back 2 years ago, and you remember that team had 120-point season, one of the greatest offenses of all time. And at the time, you make the trade, you trade away Jonathan Huberdeau, who put up 115 points, a good, solid defenseman, Mackenzie Weegar, and a first-round pick for Matthew Tkachuk. Everyone laughed at that trade. And now look at it, and it's boy, I mean, he might be up there for one. If they win this, one of the greatest runs that GM's ever been on over the last 3-4 years, because Florida has gone from missing the playoffs to really good regular season team to now a Stanley Cup contender the last 2 years. It's just been holy cow, this might be the team. I mean, this is the team to beat in the East. They might be the champions. I mean, just the run they've been on alone has been unreal over these last 4 years. I mean, the state of hockey, I know it's Minnesota's known the state of hockey, but Florida making a case right now with Tampa and the Florida Panthers.
For sure. I mean, Florida's GM, he's setting the bar for GMs of the future. and so is this team. I mean, we also got to talk about Calgary pretty much handing Florida their franchise because not only did they get Matt Tkachuk, but also, why am I blanking on his name now? Sam Bennett. Or no, not Sam Bennett. I just saw a post like literally right before we got on, where in the year later they picked up a player from Calgary in a trade too. So it's kind of like
Calgary has something going on with Florida. Well, they're like, Calgary said, if we can't beat Edmonton, we'll have someone else do it in the finals. So they're looking to Florida.
Bill Zito.
Okay.
I believe. Yeah.
Also something interesting I found. This is the farthest travel distance between two teams in the Stanley Cup Finals. You have Edmonton all the way up on the left side of Canada, Florida in the pitch right. So it's going to be home ice is a huge thing. I mean, obviously you have to play at least 2 games on each other's home ice. So it'll be interesting to see how the away team does. But both teams, like Edmonton, will be traveling to Florida and then have to travel back home. So I'm curious how much of the travel takes a toll on these teams because this is the farthest distance you could possibly go.
For sure, yeah. With the distance between games, I'm not sure how much of a difference it'll make, but you never know. Obviously, these guys it's probably the most physically demanding sport out of the major 4.
Yeah, that's true.
They've already played 90-something games, so you never know. Maybe it's better for them. The long distance gives them more rest. Maybe I don't really know. I haven't played hockey, so I can't tell you how much wear and tear it takes on their bodies. But it'll definitely be interesting to see if it is a factor.
What's your official prediction for the series?
Well, I have to ride with Edmonton. I know you're picking Florida, and rightfully so. They've shown you no reason to go against them, but I got to go Edmonton. I'm going to say I don't want to be corny and say, Edmonton in 7. I'm going to go Edmonton in 6.
Wow.
I think Florida's going to get tired after, back-to-back Stanley Cup runs, going.
I think they know this is it, though. This, you never know if you're going to be back again.
Emptying the tank in this series, and then maybe next year they get a first-round exit or something.
Yeah. And who knows? I mean, we talk about, Bobrovsky and GOAT conversations. If McDavid gets his first, where is he now all time?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be very interesting to see because that's the best part after the cup is over, the overreactions or, just reactions to these playoff runs. So, yeah, it's going to be exciting. Game 1 tomorrow night, and we'll be sure to recap that and then go along with Game 2. I believe that's either Monday or Tuesday because the finals are different. It's spread out a couple more days because, NBA Game 1 last night.
Yeah.
We don't have a game until Sunday, which kind of stinks. I don't really like that. Which I think everyone wished it was Saturday night game too. That would have been more fun. But yeah, gonna be exciting. They're the 2 best teams for a reason. Hopefully, we won't see many blowouts. I don't think we will, unless Skinner, does his thing. But the Oilers kind of remind me, if they were to win the cup, like the 2019 St. Louis Blues, where they're kind of one of the not so great teams in the league, and then Edmonton fires their head coach, and then they just turn up, flip a switch, and now they can't be stopped. I feel like they're going on that type of run with obviously best player in hockey right now, but they're going to be facing probably the best team over the last 2 years, at least in the playoffs wise. Their reason back-to-back Stanley Cup Finals is not easy, but Florida's got to pay it off because you won't be remembered for being the Eastern Conference champions. You'll be remembered for winning the Stanley Cup.
Yep, I agree. Hey, and another thing is now we don't have to stay up till 10 o'clock to watch the Oilers.
At least you don't. I was, they humbled my stars, which was unfortunate. But, shout out Edmonton. It's been a great playoff run for them, beating the Canucks. Good for them. But with that being said, we'll be looking forward to this. All eyes glued tomorrow night to this game. And we'll be making sure to cover that game. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content. I know we're going to enjoy watching the game. But with that being said, Panthers in 6 for me, believe.
Ooh, 6. Okay, we're both on 6.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say 7.
Maybe Florida in 4. All
Whoa,
right.
whoa. If that's
But
a
with
clean
that
sweep,
being said, yeah,
I won't show up.
I'll do respect that. A close sweep. But it should be exciting. We'll be here to cover all the playoff run. We'll be here to cover all the games that happen, whether it's 4 or 7. We're looking forward to it. Just more hockey for us to watch. But otherwise, exciting times, and we'll be here to cover it back on Monday. Peace out.